Happy Tuesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read. We are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes. But if you would like to get on the list for a personal reading, the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We are also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first reading giveaway will be a reading giveaway when we get to 50K likes. So make sure that you're tapping that screen. We'll get to 50K in no time. The other giveaway we are doing right now is we will be doing a reading giveaway for the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck if you're participating in that as well. Before we get started on today's daily collective read, I will be giving a brief recap on what we've been seeing in the cards over the last few days. If you want to catch that full reading, you can, if you want to catch that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find it on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my Substack. But before we get started, first and foremost, most important question, scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing today? There are no wrong answers. We are officially in Leo season during a retrograde season. And I think that I kind of have a really strong feeling that it's a bit of a like Leo to the rescue kind of a situation here, because let's talk a little bit about these retrogrades that we're going through right now, because there's a lot of them. And it's not just the fact that we've got a lot of retrograde energy, but that there are multiple planets that are retrograding right now in Aries. This can create feelings of irritability. It can create a feeling of being in a rut. It can potentially bring up things from the past that you feel like you haven't gotten over. It can bring back people from the past that you're still working through stuff with, metaphysically, tangibly. This is the kind of stuff that we often experience during retrograde periods. But, you know, the thing we have to remember, everything helps us. Everything moves us forward to a certain extent. And the one thing I will point out, and this is what we like about the fact that we're seeing that we're transiting through Cancer season into Leo season, and we're about to have this like very, very intriguing Leo new moon in just a couple of days. And I think it's really interesting too, because the thing about this particular new moon is, you know, it's happening through this like moment of transition from Cancer to Leo. It talks a lot about the space of being able to observe the emotions, right? But also to understand and be able to define the difference between what the emotions crave versus what the soul needs, right? We go through this a lot. This is really difficult. Like this is what like this is like what's difficult about emotions. Emotions sometimes get created in the worst possible spaces, right? Emotions are really bad at telling the difference between the emotions that come forth in a place of trauma versus a place of love. This is what often creates a lot of that energetic confusion within us, right? It's the understanding of what we mean when we talk about the fact that we have strong feelings about things. But this is why we do that really, really necessary, messy, often feeling very messy work of being able to untangle the way that we feel versus what we know is energetically for us, right? Because that is that is the messiness of it. And I'm going to tell you right now, like the nice thing I like about working through like energy right like this, if you were to tell me right now you're like feeling really messy, you're feeling like really discombobulated, you're working through a lot of complications as relates emotions, I'd probably tell you right now you're doing the right work with the energy that we're effectively navigating, right? Because what happens when we have strong feelings, but we're too energetically afraid to face them? That's when we start doing messy stuff, right? It doesn't feel like we're messy internally. It feels like we're messy external, outside of the self. We start projecting, right? We start avoiding. We start running from things that we should move towards, right? When we start to like sit down and really listen, and this is what we talk about in relationality, to working on that space of not disassociating, but learning how to navigate the space of the observation of our emotionality, right? It's not about going numb. It's not about turning off the emotions. It's allowing the ability to find the strength to experience them fully, to be able to sort through them, right? Because only when you're able to feel something fully can you really do the heavy necessary work of untangling what the emotions are energetically asking for. Because not all emotions are alike. We've talked about this here, right? The emotions that often come towards us, and this is what we talk about when we talk about the space of honoring the emotions. And I feel like this is what's going to happen for a lot of the work that we're doing with this new moon in Leo. Honoring the emotions does not mean just doing whatever the emotions dictate, right? There are those who will frequently try to say, they'll try to regulate, they'll try to make something okay by saying, I was just honoring my emotions. We don't honor our emotions by being dictated by them, right? And often those that say that they're on emotions, but rather they're being dictated by them, they'll look for reasons after they find the emotion fortification of doing something, right? And this is what we talk about, and this is what I feel like this is the beauty of a new moon in Leo. And I actually will tell you, like, it's going to feel a bit like a full moon, because Leo is better served when we're having a moon with it being in the new moon position. But that space of understanding that when we're truly honoring the emotions, it doesn't mean that we just do whatever we feel all the time. It's the ability to effectively identify and recognize, to do that internal work, to understand and identify what we are trying to heal from, right? The direction that we have to put that force of intention towards versus something that we need to work on inwards, right? Something that we need to unpack within the self in order to identify and recognize how we're going to do something better versus something that we are working through outside of the self. And this is having a different impact depending on where one finds oneself on the frequency cycles. Now, for a lot of the energy that is in separation right now, we are seeing that these are a lot of energies that are in separation that are working through temperance lessons. And why are we seeing that there are temperance lessons that are being navigated right now? Because for a lot of the energy right now, working through separation, the observation that healthy relationship is the space by which anything is possible, so long as the work is shared, right? The mutual accountability that is necessary that defines healthy partnership. We're seeing that for a lot of those relationships, right? This is how the retrograde energy allows the context by which we are able to work through something, the context by which we are able to identify and recognize what we are healing from versus something that we are trying to heal within. So, for a lot of this energy, I'm seeing two different modalities that are occurring right now in separation. And I'm not surprised to see two different modalities right now, given the fact that we see that Venus is currently cycling through Gemini. These are either individuals that are doing that work on the self, working on the self, understanding that the work on the self is the work that is energetically a gift as we move towards counterpart. That ability or that recognition point as it relates to identifying that when we work on the self, when we understand ourselves, when we work towards our authenticity, then when we move to partnership, it doesn't feel like we're looking for the partnership to save us, but we feel energetically restored. We come to the relationship whole. So there's a lot of those holistic approaches that we see that is working right now as it relates to the energy and separation. And it's allowing the context of being able to do the work on the self that feels like it is a benefit for that future counterpart. I also see a lot of energy right now that is moving into relationship. And I got to tell you right now, these temperance relationships that I see that are forming, the foundation of these relationships is identifying the mutual work of the self. I see a lot of this energy rehashing the past right now, having a lot of that assert, like a lot of that work in terms of looking back upon something. But are these relationships looking back at the past that they're hoping to fix or to remedy? No, they're looking to the past as a library. They're looking at the past because the past serves as a map as to how we can do something better. So, for a lot of that energy, the ability to work through that and to identify the mutual work that they're doing. This is why I keep on saying that these relationships are going to have such a strong foundation, because it's not the space of the false sense of perfection that they're trying to create for one another. It is the authenticity of the self combined with the observation that authenticity is not enough. That not only do we have to be authentic, but we also have to aspire for greater. We have to aspire for that higher version of self in the process. This brings us to a lot of the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now. And as we've identified a lot of those relationships, we were identifying as magician partnerships. These were relationships that were starting from about the time of the solstice period up until the time that Mercury and Venus stationed direct behind Neptune. For a lot of these relationships, the prioritization point of those partnerships was actually authenticity, the ability to be the authentic self that acts as a beacon for healthy counterpart. But for a lot of energy right now, this may be feeling like a very conflicted time. The observation of the mutual appreciation that they are finding in partnership, the harmony that they are finding there, it may be creating a lot of volatility of feelings that may be rising up as it relates to being able to look back at the past. The observation and the understanding, right? There's again that Venus in Gemini. Sometimes there are some lessons that we can only regulate and navigate when it comes to that force of comparison, the identification point of finding what is missing in the present that serves as an anchor in relationality to being able to look at the past and find new lessons there. So while there may be some volatility that may be arising in that context, we see that the relationship itself is serving as a strong energetic anchor, fortifying the relationship as they work on that difficult process of not projecting that volatility onto one another as they're coming into a deeper level of healing. This brings us to a lot of the energy that is deep within divine union right now. And for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, a majority of that may be the relationships that we saw that were happening or coming together at the start of the year. That was between the period of Mars and Venus stationing direct behind Neptune up until the time that Mars stationed direct. Now, for a lot of these relationships, we were identifying these as chariot partnerships. These relationships were prioritizing the reliability of counterpart that allows one to move into the inner sanctum of the self. For a lot of these relationships, the observation of how much one has come, how far the counterparts have come and how much they've changed, even in the context of being in the relationship, we see that this may be a broadening of manifestation goals. But for a lot of those relationships, that ability of seeing the changes, right? The healthy manifestation that isn't what you procure, but what you're effectively able to see. This is a lot of the energy that may be widening their possibilities, but in the process of widening their possibilities, they're coming into the modality of student, understanding and identifying what they're learning to do better, what they need to learn more about, how they're building into better communication models as it relates to broadening and strengthening the relationship going forward. That is where we find all of the energy prior to getting today's daily collective read. But let me know in the comments how this energy is impacting you personally. If you would like to find that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find it over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my Substack. That said, the list is open. If you would like to get on the list for a personal reading today, you will be the second person read for. Also, if you are here and you are on the hold list, please let me know now so I can add you back to the list. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps, pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site We are also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first reading giveaway is going to be, we are going to be doing a giveaway when we reach 50K likes. So I wish you a lot of luck if you are participating in that giveaway. The other giveaway we are doing today is we will be doing a reading giveaway for the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck if you're participating in that one as well. I'm going to take a minute to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Brandy, your subscription's ending soon if you would like to renew. Hi there, Emma. Good to see you today. Stanley and Robert. Welcome, Diane. Brittany, thank you so much for the likes. Sonia, thank you so much for the likes. Court, thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much. One moment. All right. And thank you as well, Haley. So good to see you today. And Michelle, thank you for the gifts as well. Thank you as well, Dina. Good to see you too. Tay, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. Minnie, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Grand Rising, dear. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Sherry, thank you so much for the follow. Catherine, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. Hello there, Chili. I want to point out your own book, Yeshua. There's actually many different people in that book that you have writing in it. So that book is actually, you're articulating the fact that they're the only mediator, but the Bible itself has multiple different things. A majority of the book is not written by Yeshua. So that's actually an inaccuracy of what you're saying there. All right. Thank you so much. But again, you're welcome to stick around if you'd like to stay and potentially learn something. I hope that you do the work in terms of making sure that you're not utilizing a message of love to spread fear. Sending you support on that journey. Thank you for being here and receiving these messages. Grand Rising Channeling. So good to see you guys. Make sure to give Channeling a follow. Wonderful tarot reader as well. Hope you're having an absolutely beautiful start to your day. Grand Rising Jerry, good to see you back as well. Woke up feeling amazing and grateful. It's Leo season. I hope that's helping right now. I used Divine Union in my readings last night. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Channeling. I hope you're having an absolutely beautiful start to your day, and thank you for being here and receiving these messages. GL, thank you for the follow as well. Hi there, and the Moons. I like your name. Thank you for the compliment, dear. Elaine, thank you so much for the follow as well. Grand Rising Davila, I hope you're doing well today. Trina, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Minnie, I've been feeling like I'm in a rut the last couple of days. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Minnie, we've been talking about it. We are in retrograde season. It is very typical to feel like you're in a bit of a rut when we're going through patterns like this. Grand Rising, Miss Bex, good to see you today. Hi there, BT. Hope you're having a beautiful day as well. Grace, good to see you. Rich Rising, Erica. As I mentioned, friends, we are going to get started on today's Daily Collective Read in the next few minutes. A couple of updates before we do. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who was a part of our recent tarot class. Our next tarot class will be held on Wednesday, August 13th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Tower card. And if you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best to give you guys an update on everything we've studied prior to beginning that class, but the material is there to receive as you're ready to receive it. You will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we have learned or studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you will also receive full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library class archive. That is access to over 16 hours worth of material in an ever-expanding library. You will also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage towards your personal tarot goals moving forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a founding or paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. You'll also be notified as to my Mystic Meditation articles, which I release bi-monthly, giving you updates on what we've been seeing energetically in the cards. I just released one recently on this Capricorn full moon that we just experienced. I'm going to be releasing one shortly on the new moon energy that we're coming into. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my students that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings. You can purchase these per dream or as a series. Now, if you purchase a series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. That said, we are going to get started on today's daily read in the next few minutes. But if you would like to get on the list for today, the list is open. If you get on the list for today, you will be the second person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, being in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. Going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was giving those updates. Elaine, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome again, Davila, for joining us. Trina, thank you so much for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Grand Rising, Team Olsana, good to see you, Miss Bex. Hi there, BT. Hope you're having a beautiful start to your day. So good to see you, Grace. Welcome, Erica. Good to see you, Fig. Hope you're having a beautiful day as well. Mandy, thank you for the follow, dear. Trina, Leo season. The change is 180 difference. Well, and I was trying to tell you guys, I told you this Leo retrograde right now is going to hit a little bit different. I mean, this Mercury retrograde right now is going to hit a little bit different, right? And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, and I keep on seeing, right, with all of this planet, all these planets that we currently have stationed retrograde in Aries, right? It's like, how do you work through hard feelings? Identifying and recognizing possibility, right? There's a lot of that work that we're going to be seeing right now. I think we were seeing it a lot in yesterday's reading too, which is like the amplification of like hope that's rampant. Thank you as well. And Pops, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. Why is the moon card hard to read? Do you mean in general, Charlie, like in terms of the interpretation? I'm happy. So the thing about the moon card that we often experience, and I'm looking forward to being able to teach on this card shortly, is that the moon card, you have to remember that the moon itself is effectively a reflective energy, right? It's very important to notate that a lot of the light that we have from the moon isn't effectively from the moon, but it is an amplifier or a reflector of what it's energetically receiving. So when we're reading for it in the tarot, it can sometimes feel like there is that air of mystery connected to it, because it's the understanding that, again, the polarity of the moon itself is one that we see that it is ever changing in relationality to both how we view it, but also it is reflective of the light that's cast upon it. So we often see that when we're doing like the translation of that card, it can work very much about navigating the unconscious space. It can work about the fact that when we're not doing the healthy shadow work, often the unconscious will project out onto the world around us. So I don't necessarily feel like, when I think when you're saying that it's hard to read, there is a little bit of a nebulous quality that sometimes you can amplify when it comes up in our own readings. But, and again, when we get into this card with the Tarot Church classes, I'm really looking forward to it. I like to point out that when that card arises, a good thing to ask yourself is often making sure to say to yourself, like, what are you not seeing, right? It almost is like a card that encourages us and challenges us to think deeper, as it were. Thank you so much for that question, Charlie. I appreciate it. And Ginger, thank you so much for the follow as well. As I mentioned, friends, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read. If you would like to get on the list for today, the list is open. Now is a wonderful time to get on the list. You will be the second person read for. I am also doing a call right now for anyone who is on the hold list who would like to get on the list for today. I know we've got a few people on the hold list right now. If you are on the hold list and would like to get off the hold list and be added to the list today, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to add you. If you would like to get on the list for today, you will be the second person read for. Good to see you, Bridget. Hope you're having a beautiful start to your day. And again, just a reminder to anybody who's joining us across the other platforms as well, you can also get on the list via my tree that has Binks in it in my bio. Bridget, I see that you would like to get removed off the hold list. I'm going to add you right now. You will be the second person read for today. Thank you so much, dear, and I hope you're having an absolutely beautiful day. As I mentioned, friends, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read. If you would like to get on the list is open. Also, just a reminder, hold on a moment. All right. Yeah, hold on a minute. Sorry about that. Excellent. Hey there, Minnie. How are you doing? I might not be here when you're done, but if not, oh, of course, as always, as you know, you'll never miss a reading here. We're never going to have that happen. All right. We do need a minute though, because I do need to make sure that something is working. I need to make sure that we've got the podcast up before we get started. Just a reminder to those who want to get on the list today, I will be on shorter than I typically am. So if you'd like to get on the list, please do so sooner rather than later. And before we get started, why don't we warm up with a bit of an intuition check? Just bear with me one moment. All right. I've got our animal spirit guide cards here right before me. I am going to draw a card. I'm going to count back from 10. Go ahead and let me know in the comments what your insights are. We'll see who gets closest to it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We had the ram. Thank you, guys. Nice try. We'll do that again after that we do the daily collective. All right. Are we back now? Just bear with me a minute and we will get started. Please hold. Mercury is doing its thing. You know how you guys got to give me a pass if we're having technological issues, given the fact that Mercury is in retrograde. All right, there we go. Starting off, I know we are starting off with a bang. It's Leo season. Of course, we're going to be starting off with a bang. There we go. All right. Are we back now? Hold on a minute. Yes, we are. Perfect. Why don't we get started? Welcome, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are our Page of Wands in combination with our Death card. Let's talk a little bit about this transition into Leo season. So as you may recall, we've been speaking a lot about the fact that we've been going through a very intense retrograde period. If you've been feeling this right now, okay, we're just going to talk about it. We've been talking about it for several days. I've been calling this is retrograde season right now because there are so many planets currently in retrograde. We've got Neptune in retrograde, we've got Saturn in retrograde, we've got Pluto in retrograde. Chiron is going to be going in retrograde on the 30th. We got Mercury in retrograde, and a lot of those planets that we currently have in retrograde are in Aries. So let's talk a little bit about what we often sometimes feel when we've got a lot of planets in retrograde. It's working through the space of hard feelings. It's working through a space of potentially having a lot of that intensity, even potentially feeling that like ability of being very hard on the self. But this is why I keep on seeing that to a certain extent, there is a little bit of this energy that we're having right now with the fact that we've got Mercury and in Leo, and also the fact that we're about to move into Leo season. Because Leo, like a lot of the Leonic energy that we often experience, helps us understand that how we carry ourselves is not energetically conditional of the environment that we find ourselves surrounded by. This is what's really beautiful that we often see in the transition from Cancer into Leo energy, right? Because in Cancer season, we often deal with the sensitivity point. We deal with the vulnerability, right? It is the softening of the energetic shell, if you will, right? And that ability of understanding, like working through the vulnerability that is a gift. When we dive into our vulnerability, we are able to articulate why we feel energetically vulnerable. And there's no greater gift. It's not just about feeling, it's understanding the motivations of our feelings. Because Leo always teaches us that it is not that we don't honor our feelings just by doing whatever feelings dictate. That's not honoring feelings. That's being led by feelings. That's being emotionally controlled by your emotions, right? There's no control of the emotions because we can't control the fact that we feel them. And if we're led by them without doing the work of introspecting upon them, then it can sometimes create those moments. Like that is the definition of feeling energetically triggered, right? And when we're in the space of understanding ourselves, we hold, right? That's what honor means. Honor means to hold something, right? So when we are honoring things, we're not just being led by them. We're not just being dictated by them. We hold it. Okay. So the ability to hold the emotions is how we energetically honor the emotions. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we do whatever the emotions dictate, but we do the understanding and the work. What happens when you hold something? When you hold something, you can observe and recognize its value. You can understand its import. And by understanding its import, you can then understand what it is that you are trying to do with it, right? And this is why I keep on identifying that for a lot of the relationships right now that are coming together, there is so much harmony in a lot of this work. That observation and understanding of being able to articulate upon the things that we hold energetic meaning upon. And so I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, that articulation point, that definition, that observation of what they're trying to do better, right? That is the hope that they're effectively bringing to the energetic self. They're either bringing it to the self because we've got, again, we've got Venus in Gemini right now. So there's two different modalities that we are observing right now in separation, right? The observation that when we can see something that we can do better upon, we don't allow ourselves to be crushed under the weight of it, but we resolve to do better, right? That is the hope that the energy is bringing to themselves as they continue forward into healthy partnership. Or these are new relationships that are forming with reliant upon the energetic conversation in relationality to hashing out what they're trying to do in a better way that allows the context of being able to articulate and define the type of relationship that they're looking for. Because one of the big lessons that we're taking out of Cancer season And this was a continuation of a lot of those magician partnerships that we were seeing forming prior to the solstice period, is when we're building into healthy partnership, we don't put potential in counterpart. We don't put potential, we don't build relationship in seeing counterpart and aspiring to see change within another. That's building into a relationship of potential. The potential that we bring to relationship should rest on the relationship, not in the quality of the counterpart that we move in accordance with. This is what we see that's allowing for a lot of that transition point and a lot of that deeper healing for the energy that's moving deeper into relationship right now. As we mentioned, some of those, a majority of those magician relationships that were starting, that were forming between the time of the solstice period up until the time that Mercury and Venus stationed direct behind Neptune. Clarification for a lot of that energy right now, center card for today's spread. We have here, woo, I love it, right? This is where we were, right? The healthy relationship is one that helps you see how far you've come. It helps you build into the pathwork of what is effectively being able to fortify and navigate your own pathwork forward. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, right? That same modality, the observation of something, the ability to see something that would have potentially even devastated. I need to stress this, the ability to see something that might have potentially even devastated the self in a prior, in a past experience, right? The destabilization that might have come in observing something that wasn't necessarily in a space of energetic balance. What is the relationship bringing with it? Stability, right? The stability that is fortified by the clear observation of circumstances. Because I just keep on seeing that that is a continuation of the transformational quality of relationship that a lot of those partnerships were seeking. Because what is it? What do we mean? Like, as we recalled, a lot of those magician relationships were looking for the modality of being able to be in a relationship that allows one to come into the authenticity of self. And the authenticity, the deepening of the authenticity of self is being able to observe things potentially about your past that you couldn't see before, right? It's the observation of the authenticity that doesn't just happen in the present, but allows the context and being able to see it like through the past as well. So for a lot of those energies, I just see the energy like working through it, right? Like any of that volatility, just moving it forward, right? The healthy energetic conduit of putting it into a space that feels like it's energetically productive. Fourth and fifth cards right now in our 5-card spread, we have here for the energy deep within divine union, our Ace of Swords in its upright in combination with our Hierophant in its reversal. So for a lot of this energy that we're observing right now, deep within divine union, I'm just seeing that for a lot of that work, a lot of those observations, this is what we meant in relationality to a lot of the energy deep within divine union, working on the redefinition of the self, potentially even working on the expansive point that we often experience in relationality to observing and articulating upon what it is that we're trying to do better. Right. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, like the Ace of Swords in combination with the Hierophant in its reversal, it talks a lot about unconventional approaches, right? The healthy relationship that allows the context by which you see something in a different way. The observation of being able to see something in a different way that fortifies the self, that allows one to be able to identify and recognize what it is that you're working on, that allows the context by which you can do something in like I keep on seeing like this is saying to me new ideas, new approaches, new thoughts. It's like I just keep on hearing it's like a lot of that continuing percolation that we're seeing right now for a lot of the energy deep within divine union. And there is a protectiveness there. But it is the protectiveness that we articulate upon that speaks towards what it is that we energetically care about. And so I keep on seeing that that's a lot of that. I told you, it's like that leonic journey in relationality to being able to put our force of intention towards something, because it's the ability to find, like I keep on hearing, it's like a lot of that energy deep within divine union is being able to find the words to articulate and define what it is that they're trying to do in a different way. A lot of that work in terms of being a perpetual student, continuing to get clarification between our Page of Wands in combination with our Death card. Can I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Judgment card in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about going back to the energy that's in separation right now. As we articulated, for a lot of this energy, this, I need to point out, Hierophant in its reversal and Judgment card in its reversal talks a lot about the ability to identify and recognize something that one is working to change, right? And this is what's really beautiful with the energy. I just want to show this to you for you guys who are participating, like who are engaging with the cards. And for those who are on the Substack or listening to the podcast, you can find the full spread over that will be photographed and shown where we post the podcast. For a lot of this energy, this is what we mean in relationality to the hopefulness that a lot of these relationships are bringing forth into these relationships, because it's the observation that anything is possible so long as the work is mutual, right? That adaptability that allows for the context of being able to do something in a different way. So what do we see that is happening for a lot of the energy in separation right now? This is either the observation, right? The commitment to the self, not getting too hard on the self, not allowing the context of energetic heaviness to I keep on hearing, it's like working through the context of the retrograde. And what happens when we're going through these retrograde periods? It's very easy, especially with so much of this energy in Aries, to have a tendency of getting too hard on the self, right? Wanting to internalize outside circumstances or situations. But this is how we are identifying that some of that Capricorn full moon that we're moving away from into the Leo new moon is kind of helping to build that sense of energetic resilience, right? Because when we get hard, like when we start to feel hard on ourselves, right, it's the observation of holding ourselves to a deeper standard. So what do we see that that energy is doing? Is that energy in a space where they're just like I keep on hearing, and that's the only thing about it. I keep on pointing out with like a lot of this Aries energy, it's very easy to feel a bit of that inclination of desiring to like be triggered as a treat. But I see this energy that is taking a lot of a lot of that passion, and they're putting it into transformation, right? They're just moving the passion into transformation, because I keep on seeing that that is how we heal from energetic devastation, right? The same force that sometimes makes us feel like it's hard on ourselves, the same force that we sometimes feel like that sense of frustration, when we move that into productivity, it allows the context of being able to navigate through the hopefulness in terms of what is ahead of us. So I keep on seeing that this is, in a way, this is a little bit, and this is the thing that I like, and this is sometimes what we identify when Saturn goes into retrograde. And I keep on seeing that this keeps on coming up, right? Because it's the context by which the fact is that we don't know what the future holds, right? And so, and that's the one thing that I want to amplify, especially as we're going through retrograde periods, right? Because often when we're feeling so much of this retrograde energy, it can feel like things are moving backwards, right? It can feel like I keep on hearing, it can feel almost like that riptide energy that feels like it's pulling us back into spaces that we don't desire to be in. But that's why I keep on seeing, like, working through the energetic resilience point, observing and identifying what one is able to do better. I keep on seeing this is the patience that we bring to difficult situations, right? Because I keep on seeing we don't work ourselves to exhaustion We recognize and identify what allows for that feeling of energetic productivity. So what's beautiful, right? I almost see some energy in separation saying, I'm taking a new approach. I'm being patient with the self, right? And what does it mean when we're being energetically patient with ourselves? Often the way we can be patient with ourselves is by being able to chart our own progress. So I want you to remember that right now, because if you're feeling like you're in a bit of a rut, right? If you're feeling those points of energetic stagnancy right now that often can feel like they're reverberating when we have so many of these planets in retrograde, I want you to take a page from that Capricorn full moon, right? Capricorn full moon, giving us that like energetic clue and relationality to how to work through something, which is to say, chart your progress, be methodical, appreciate how far you have come, because that is often the song of getting out of a rut, right? The difference between feeling like one isn't going anywhere versus the visible, I keep on hearing versus the visible, like the visible clarified observation, the undeniable force of the tangible that often articulates and says otherwise. Now, I keep on seeing this is what the new counterpart relationships are doing for one another, right? Like I can keep on seeing that for a lot of these new relationships that are coming together, the energy feeling, what are they talking about? They're bemoaning the feeling of having wasted time. And what are they effectively reminding each other of? We never waste time. Nothing we do in relationship is ever time wasted, because so long as we are recognizing and understanding like the force of our intention, the observation of recognizing and identifying and working through the lessons as it relates to what we can change versus what we can accept, I keep on seeing that a lot of the energy is giving each other credit, right? Because I keep on hearing it is the same perseverance that will often keep us in unhealthy situations is what allows us to be such amazing energetic partners when we find the right counterpart. That same desire to tough it out when we're in healthy relationship is the same energy that allows us to overcome any energetic obstacle. And so that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy, there's that continuation of working through the energetic lesson that says when we're trying to do something, when we are being tenacious, when we are being energetically persistent, our persistence is never a failure point. The only failure point we often receive and reach is the observation of understanding that the work must be mutual. If not, it is impossible, right? The work must be mutual, or else it feels like we are being crushed under the weight of it. So I feel like a lot of that energy is healing and forgiving themselves, even in the context of new relationship. Because if this in the space that they say, I did everything, right? I could, the energy says that's not a negative. That is a blessing. Continuing to get clarification between our death card and that's what I meant about these relationships having such strong foundation, because these are the energies that are coming together that are like working through that space of hard work. They know what it means to work towards healthy partnership. It's not a latent state, it's a space of persistent present activation. Continuing to get clarification between our death card in combination with our 8 of Pentacles in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify? We've got here our Emperor card in its reversal. This is what I mean in relationality to some of the energy right now, moving deeper into divine union, like working through something. And I keep on seeing like a lot of that energy. There's a ferocity here. There is ferocity in move of the energy coming into divine union. And where are they moving it? They're moving it into veracity. They're moving the ferocity into veracity. And why do we see that a lot of those relationships are moving the ferocity into veracity? Because for a lot of that energy, right, The modality, and this is what we often experience, the observation of the arrival of wisdom in the relationship by which we are energetically appreciated helps us see something from the past that we can't effectively change, nor do we want to change it, because the observation and understanding of the context of the present is one that we feel fortified by it, right? It is the space, and I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy working through that trauma, right? It's not that it makes it okay, right? It's not that it makes it okay, but I keep on seeing that this is the energy that's trying to work through it. And this is what we mean about moving ferocity into veracity, because the observation of the space by which we're able to see something that upsets us, that we could not see before, right? But not allowing it to make us energetically bitter, right? It often is the space by which we articulate and identify what it is that we're trying to do in a greater way. Something that gives something all the more meaning, right? The observation and the understanding of something that hurt us, that allows us to be even more energetically committed in relationality to what it is that we're putting our force of intention towards. So that's why I keep on seeing, like, that's what we talk about with healing from trauma. There's no context wherein you can let go of trauma, right? It's never like we talk about the healing journey here, which is saying, when am I going to get over it? You're never going to get over it. It's not about getting over things. It's learning how to work with it. It's learning how to carry it in a way that it doesn't feel like it bears you down. But again, something that you have to hold, and you hold it in a way that allows the ability to move through it. Welcome to Leo season, because again, remember the word honor, right? The word honor means to hold something, the ability to hold something in a way that it allows you to feel the depth of the weight of what you're energetically carrying. This brings us to a lot of the energy that is deep within divine union right now. And I keep on seeing, for a lot of this energy right now, I'm going to tell you, feminine and masculine, it's having a different impact depending on, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. Clarification between our Eight of Pentacles in combination with our Ace of Swords. Boom, we've got here the Seven of Cups in its reversal. It's really interesting too, because there's something happening right now in deep within divine union that's speaking to me on multitasking, right? It's like I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, it is working through multitasking, which is, I keep on seeing, like, I think I told you that for a lot of the energy that's deep within divine union right now, it's like I keep on seeing it's not about doing something bigger, it's doing something more efficiently, is what I keep on seeing. There's something about that. I feel like there's something about the Leo season. It's the Leo retrograde, right? Which is often, it's the amplification or the articulation that sometimes the way we do something bigger is by doing something smaller in a bigger way, right? I keep on hearing, it's like the ability to bring things energetically together is what I keep on seeing. So I keep on seeing there's a lot of that energy that is being adaptable, right? They're looking at how they're doing things in order to find different approaches, because the ability to find different approaches allows for a lot of that efficiency to come through, right? So I just keep on seeing, like, that's what I meant in terms of like having those conversations, brainstorming, like working through something to be able to recognize and identify better ways of doing more. I keep wondering, doing more with less, right? Saturn and Neptune in retrograde. How can we do more with less time, right? It's a lot of that type of manifestation adjustment. Continuing to get clarification between our Ace of Swords in its upright in combination with our Hierophant in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Woo, we've got double sevens right now. That's further confirmation. So this is interesting because, as again, remember when I said always patient, never waiting. This is the observation of being able to recognize and identify doing more, like doing something in a smaller way, but doing more, doing it more energetically effectively. You know, it's a conversation, it's a continuation on the conversation that we see that a healthy manifestation is often not what we're going to do more of, right? But it's the recognition of what we need to change, what we need to adapt to. So I keep on hearing like there's a lot of this energy that is working in the context of nuance, because it is the energy that I keep on seeing. Small changes yield big results, right? A little, like a few changes every day go a long way, right? And this is the energy that doesn't look at something and says, oh, I have to do something completely different. It's the energy that's like looking on, like making small adaptations. I believe the moon's in Gemini right now, which would make a lot of sense, because often when we have like Gemini energy, we start to see a lot of like conversations related to adaptations or adaptability. Now, let's get back to some of this energy that is moving deeper into divine union, because this, I got to tell you, the energy coming into divine union right now is where the rough stuff is. This is just to show you qualitatively that there is no place on the frequencies that is better or worse than another spot. It's all working through the same lessons in different ways to a certain extent, because something I'm identifying that we're seeing here, and I keep on seeing this, like I keep on hearing like a lot of the energy that's coming into divine union right now, they're coming into divine union and they've got a lot of strong feelings about it. Is what I keep on seeing. They're coming into divine union and they've got a lot of strong feelings about it. They want some words. There's some energy that wants like some words with the people, is what I keep on seeing with some of this energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now. Can I get clarification though? One card to clarify. Like some words. Yeah, you see, but here's the thing about it, right? It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that Three of Pentacles. It's a lot of that, like, listen, like, this is what we mean. We need a word for it. There's got to be a word for it. Um, I keep on seeing, it's like, it is almost like, I want to describe it. I want to describe it as, I want to put it this way, for the way I can best describe an analogy for what, like, some of the energy coming to divine union is feeling right now, is like the observation of energetically looking back in the past and seeing a hornet's nest that one did not identify at the time. And either the hornet's nest is something that was within the self or something that one navigated through, right? It's the observation. And why are they feeling like that? Because these are relationships that the gift, the profound understanding of clarity that is arriving to them in these modalities is the mutual appreciation of the energy in relationality to one another, the alignment point of feeling how easy it can be when we are in a relationship where we feel that there is that mutual appreciation. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy, this is masculine and feminine, either identifying one of two different modalities of something that happened in the past, either something that they identify that they are doing differently now that would have changed the context of something that they experienced in the past, or these are relationships where someone is observing what was missing in an energetic relationship from the past. And I keep on hearing, there's a lot of that. I keep on hearing, there's a lot of that volatility that rises up. There's a lot of those strong feelings, like working through that. Working also on not projecting that on counterpart, because it's also the grounding force of understanding that often brings us to the arrival point of things that we cannot see. And this is why we see that for a lot of that energy, it's working through the complication of healthy relationship, which is the observation of being able to see things that you could not see before. But then what's beautiful about this, and this is often why like some individuals like make the mistake of moving out of healthy partnership when they see something in the past that they couldn't see before, failing to recognize that the healthy relationship is one that brings with it clarified perspective. So we see, and that's what I like so much about these magician partnerships, they're not making that energetic mistake They're not doing the fool's errand of running back to a place that used to confound them. It's the observation of the understanding that the place that we stand that allows clarity is the place that feels like it is energetically nourishing to ourselves. So this is a lot of the energy that is working into like these magician partnerships that are almost moving into like hermit mode. The deepening of the relationship that becomes the energetic inner sanctuary, because it is in the inner sanctuary of the healthy partnership that allows one to be able to see things that you could not see before. Continuing to get clarification between, for the energy in separation right now, the Emperor in its reversal, in combination with our Seven of Cups in its reversal. May I have one card to clarify? There, ooh, we got 3 sevens out today. Make sure, if you're watching the podcast, make sure that you take a moment today to hop on over to the Substack to see today's spread. 3 sevens, man. That's no joke. You know, that's some intense, that's some intense stuff. And, you know, I got to stress this. I'm just going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm just going to be completely honest with what I'm seeing for some of the energy and separation. And you guys know, I'm just going to preface this. You know, I am not the type of reader that's like, they're coming back. I'm not that type of reader. I'm not the type of reader that's always like, they're coming back. But the thing I need to stress about this is I see for some of the energy and separation, the opportunity to re-enter an unhealthy energetic cycle. You know, I like, again, I see the opportunity to enter an unhealthy energetic cycle, like arriving, like, you know what I mean? Like, but I see the energy being like, no, right? Because here's the thing about it. And like, I feel like there's a lot, remember when I said, the recognition point in being able to heal. Anything is possible to heal, but there needs to be mutual recognition of what that healing is. And this is often a demarcation point that we observe as it relates to when we understand that we have to come into separation, right? The observation, what are some of the demarcation points of a relationship that needs to move into the context of healthy separation? Vastly different manifestation goals, or and what do we mean by vastly different manifestation goals? The identification, a healthy relationship is one that has a destination. That's why it is a ship. It is a ship. It is a ship. It is a relationship that is going somewhere. The identification point of a relationship is the word ship. It's supposed to go somewhere. And even in the context, it doesn't even matter where it's going, so long as there's mutual agreement of where that destination is. So I see that there's like that opportunity that may be approaching, a lot of energy and separation right now, to like move back into an energetic relationship where there may have been confusion as it relates to the destination, or an inviability point in ever getting clarity on that, or recognizing like that force of that energetic force that says when we're working through volatility, we don't separate to heal, we work through it energetically together. So I just keep on seeing that the like what is happening right now. And I told you, remember when I said this Mercury Leo season, like this Mercury retrograding in Leo is going to hit a little bit different, right? What happens during Mercury retrograde cycles? Often, and we talk about this, there's often a misunderstanding of what happens during Mercury retrograde cycles. Mercury retrograde does not arrive to break your toaster. It does not arrive to confound it. Mercury retrogrades arrive to help us understand the difference between a groove and a rut. Because sometimes we get so used to doing something that isn't the most efficient way to do it, that often in the context of something that we're so used to doing in the retrograde, breaking, What often happens when you come out of the retrograde period? I like to point this out. Everyone complains that the Mercury retrograde broke their toaster oven, but they don't talk about the fact that Mercury retrograde got them a new toaster oven, right? Oh my God, then this one is much better, right? It's like that space. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes, sometimes we go back to the way it is because that's the way it works. It helps us. It's like a pressure test, if you will. It helps us understand what works for us versus what we need to innovate upon. But what's happening with this particular Mercury retrograde cycle that is occurring right now in the midst of retrograde season is it is the ability to see the unhealthy patterns by which feel like the difference between something that we can innovate upon, right? Something that we can work on to do better versus something that feels like it doesn't energetically work. And I feel like the thing about this, especially given the fact that we're having this happen as Leo season comes in and Mercury's in Leo, is the observation that, and again, it's a continuation of the message that anything is fixable, but impossible unless the work that is put towards it is energetically mutual. Because often what happens in those relationships where we're trying to identify, we're trying to fix something, and another person is saying nothing's wrong. It's like one person putting the bricks up, the other one's taking the bricks down, right? Or one person wants to move deeper into partnership and the other person likes it the way it is. A lot of that tug of war energy. So I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy working through this, the observation of the relationship is not even based upon the observation of where the work is, but the identification point as to whether the work that is required to heal or fix something is energetically mutual. And this is why I said with these temperance relationships, the foundation of these partnerships that are forming right now are like pretty much like they're impenetrable. This is some like solid foundation stuff that we're seeing here. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. This is like good bones energy, right? This is like understanding, being like, no, that's where it goes. This is what we need to work on, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Seven of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Seven of Pentacles in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with that Knight of Pentacles in its reversal. So for a lot, and this is what I mean, a lot of this energy right now, I'm going to tell you right now, the energy going through it the most right now, I'm going to tell you right now is the energy coming into divine union. Because here's the thing, that sense of frustration, like the sense of frustration that I see that is occurring right now, potentially even for some energy and separation, seeing the process of trying to heal from an unhealthy cycle and then the unhealthy cycle coming back, and then the observation of even that being a part of the energetic cycle, like that's a lot of the energy that like feels like there's a space by which they can move towards that feels like it is like productive. A lot of the energy right now coming into divine union is working on not projecting. It's working on not projecting. Why is the energy working on not projecting? Because it can feel very frustrating when we can observe lessons from the past that we can only see in the context of the present. It can create a lot of that. I can see it's like a lot of the energy going, well, what am I supposed to do with this? It's the energy going, what am I supposed to do with this? This feels frustrating and unnecessary is what I keep on hearing the energy say. This feels frustrating. It's like a lot of that how rude kind of energy. It's a lot of that energy that just like feels like it's energetically rude to only be able to see what was energetically wrong in the moment that something is energetically right, right? Because it often feels it's like I keep on saying it's like the shoe. It's like the shoe that's dropping. It's like the shoe that drops in the context of being completely not helpful at the time that you energetically need it. But this is also, I need to point out, that is also the context that reaffirms to the energy that they are in the right place, right? The space by which we are able to see something that we couldn't see before, especially for a lot of these magician partnerships, because we said that the prioritization point of a lot of those relationships was coming into their own authenticity. The ability to observe something in a way that one could never see it before. That is almost feeling like the energy that is almost, I see the energy saying, finally, clarity. Even if that clarity feels frustrating, right? Even if that clarity feels enervating, right? Because I keep on hearing clarity, even like often, I keep on hearing clarity often will frustrate you. It's like clarity will frustrate you because it'll help you understand what you could have been doing better. And it also helps you understand what you couldn't energetically change. Continuing to get clarification between our Three of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Seven of Swords in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify? Woo! Clarification coming through right now with our King of Cups in its upright. So let's talk a little bit about this for the energy deep within divine union. This is, I mean, and here's the thing about it. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, it is the articulation and understanding that compassion, I keep on hearing compassion is tantamount, because compassion is the force by which we put our empathy to the world, right? And a manifestation goals in general, like this is what we talk about with healthy spirituality. Healthy spirituality is not the space that you feel like you believe something because it indulges one to feel that way, right? Healthy spirituality typically shows you where the work needs to go, right? It's not the space by which, it's not the song about why you are energetically perfect. It is the song about trying to reach energetic perfection. And so I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy deep within divine union, that observation, that articulation, the ability to speak upon how we feel, I keep on hearing it's a continuation of what we've been talking about as it relates to what it means to honor emotions. Honoring emotions is not indulging on the emotions. What is the difference between honoring emotions and indulging in emotions? Indulging in emotions is just doing whatever one feels inclined to do at any moment. There's no energetic mindfulness there, right? And often understanding that we have lots of emotions throughout the day, right? That is dysregulation. Moving in accordance with just how your emotions feel is dysregulation, because you can't control the emotion. So if you say, I'm just honoring my emotions, but you're just doing whatever you feel without any inquiry as to why you feel like that, that is not honoring emotions. That is indulging in them. When we honor the emotions, we understand and recognize what we are holding. We recognize and identify why we are holding them in order to ascertain what the emotions are asking for, right? And that is the moment that when we honor our emotions, we move those emotions with intention, right? The force of intention that allows us to, I keep on hearing, like, articulate something. And sometimes, and honestly, I got to point this out, often when we're honoring the emotions, we can tell because it's hard work. It's not easy, right? The emotions are reluctant to be honored. Is what I keep on hearing. Emotions are often reluctant to be honored because it requires us to do the hard work as to communicating why we have them. And when we communicate why we have them, it can feel like very vulnerable stuff. But this is why we often talk about the space that there's no greater strength than being able to speak upon the emotions instead of reacting to them, because it is the identification of the emotional intelligence that we bring to situations and circumstances that allow for the ability to do something in different ways, the ability to convey that force of intention. So that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, that arrival point. This is why we also see it's so important to make sure that we heal our egos before we enter into partnership, right? Because the difference between being in a partnership in the observation of not being able, of having like the space by which you're not able to like hash something else or have differences of opinion, right? The healthy energetic ego is one that acts as a sieve because it allows the ability to be able, like the gift of healthy ego is the benefit of differing perspectives, right? The adaptability that we're able to find in being able to hear someone out energetically and not feel like not feeling the emotions that rise up that make it impossible in order to kind of communicate. So I just keep on seeing, right? Like, welcome to Leo season, right? The conversation about moving towards compassion, but not, and I keep on hearing the compassion that does not mean soft-heartedness. Compassion does not mean soft-heartedness. We have to be strong in the space of what we are compassionate about, because that is the compassion that is fueled by energetic passion, right? It is the way that we're able to distill that passion to be able to speak upon why something is important. And for masculine and feminine, I see that this is having a different impact depending on where you, like, bear in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. Clarification between our Seven of Swords in combination with our Knight of Pentacles in its reversal. We've got here our Knight of Cups in its upright. Now we've got, I got to tell you right now, there's a lot of masculine energy. There's a lot of masculine energy that is on the table today. But I also think that there's something important in relationality to where I see the feminine right now. Because for a lot of the feminine energy I'm seeing, this is the understanding of the adaptability and the recognition point in allowing the context by which we are able to energetically communicate. And I keep on hearing that, and we talk about this here too. Like, the thing we always have to be very energetically wary of is when we use the word all in place of anything energetically empowering, right? When we say all, that is the modality where we are taking something and we are energetically stereotyping it, right? The modality where when we describe something and we put it in a bucket and we say, like, this is the articulation of everything, that is the song of hopelessness, right? And we have to be very conscientious about how we speak towards one another, right? Because even when we talk about the like masculine and feminine energy, never are we more lost than when we start statements with all feminine, all masculine. Because when you say the word all, you say all hope is lost, right? It's the context by which we don't barrel everything up and say all of it needs to be pushed aside. It's the context by which we're able to determine and articulate where the work goes. And this is what we see is very beautiful that's happening right now, deep within divine union. I see even now that for a lot of the energy, like that tendency, right? That tendency of understanding when you are working in a space where you are being contradictory to one's own efforts. You can't say to me that you're looking towards healthy counterpart and then in the same breath say all masculine or all feminine, right? Because you're creating an energetic contradiction point. You can't say I'm looking for the perfect counterpart. It's a shame that all men are terrible. I'm looking for the perfect feminine counterpart. It's a shame that all women are blah, blah, blah. When we do that, you're creating an energetic contradiction in your field. You're basically saying, I'm looking for this, but I'm starting with the presumption that I will never energetically find it, right? You have to make sure in any context that you bring hope to a manifestation. And the first thing we talk about with healthy manifestation is making sure, we talk about this, when we are building towards healthy manifestation, it's not about what we need to do more of. It's often the conversation of what we need to start doing less of, right? Because you cannot build a world that you're constantly contradicting upon what you desire versus what you are articulating that you're finding there. So I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the relationships that are building into this context, even working through the vernacular that they find around themselves, right? The identification point that often articulates upon the energetic hopelessness that occurs when we start to effectively bundle everything up into a point of hopelessness. It leaves no ground to be able to communicate. It often creates more of the polarization point, right? Because it's that more of that egoic journey that wants to project it outward instead of doing the important work of identifying and recognizing that the work needs to be energetically mutual. So what do we see that's happening right now? For a lot of the energy deep within divine union, they're talking about those mutual journeys. They're giving each other insights as it relates to their perspective. Now, do they recognize that they're different? Yes, but they also recognize that the difference of opinion is a quality and characteristic that allows one to have a comprehensive view, right? So this is a lot of energy having comprehensive conversations in order to get the fuller scope of things, right? Now, for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, this is why I see, remember, I keep on hearing the ferocity that moves into veracity, right? The ability of the energy to work through something, right? To come into the healthy energetic relationship where they're finally appreciated, and then boom, they suddenly see what was missing. They suddenly can understand and recognize what they could not see before. Now, a lot of that ferocity rising up about the past moved into veracity, holding what they have even tighter, because the healthy relationship is one that clears the view. The healthy relationship is one that provides the clear rear view, right? The ability to be able to see something that one could not see before, that is amplified by the energetic security of what you've energetically found. So I keep on seeing that a lot of that energy, what's beautiful about that is this is the energetic embrace that tightens in relationality to being able to observe something that they couldn't see before. And this is why we see that a lot of that energy understands the profound gift of healthy partnership is the perspective that allows us to see things with deeper clarity. And so I feel like a lot of that energy, I actually see that like a lot of this energy is working in the context of feeling more vulnerable than they ever have before. And a lot of that journey that they're experiencing is working on not projecting a lot of that internal volatility that they're finding as it relates to the past on the energetic counterpart. This brings us to a lot of the energy in separation right now. Final card between our King of Cups and our Knight of Cups. Boom, we've got our King of Pentacles in its reversal. This spread today is wild. This spread today is wild. Like I see right now, I see some unhealthy energetic cycles coming to like a full stop right now. I'm just seeing a lot of these energetic cycles coming to a full stop, and here's why, right? This is the observation that we have. Emotions don't make relationships. Emotions cannot serve as the energetic is not the sole thing. You cannot keep a healthy relationship together with emotions. You can't keep a healthy relationship together with emotions only, right? Especially if there isn't clarity, right? The observation of emotions does not fortify a relationship. It often complicates what's actually happening, right? And this is why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, the ability to be able to hold the emotions, the observation between the difference between having a lot of emotions, but the bigger question you need to ask yourself when you have a lot of emotions are these emotions that I'm feeling nourishing, or are they energetically depleting? Because the healthy relationship is a relationship that has all of the emotions that feel like they're energetically nourishing, right? The emotions that feel like they fill us, the emotions that feel like they complete us, right? We can often tell the unhealthy relationships because we've got a lot of emotions and they feel like they're dragging us around, right? It's the energy that feels like we're just getting dragged constantly because we don't know where the emotions are going. We're just on it for the ride, right? And so I keep on hearing that what's happening for a lot of the energy right now, I told you, these temperance relationships is saying zero drag energy. And that's not to say, right? That's not to say that relationships don't require work, right? But relationships don't require one to feel dragged in the process of being in them. The energy that is in a healthy space is the space that we carry the weight of a relationship from a point of honor, right? The energetic honor that we carry it, how we hold something is what the word honor means. So this is why I see that for a lot of the energy doing that work, it is the understanding of not feeling, not asking oneself, is there a relationship here by looking at the emotions, but saying to the self, do these emotions feel like they nourish me? Do they feel like they support me? Do they feel like they prioritize the stability of that we create for one another? Or is this the relationship that feels like it is dragging me? It feels like it is pulling one along. It feels like one is being dragged upon it because one is not able to get footing in relationality to where one is or where it's going to be. And so that's why I keep on seeing that a lot of this energy right now, I see either two different modalities happening right now in energy and separation. Either the energy that's working on the self and feeling better, and then somebody potentially trying to come back with this in the same modality by which they left, right? Like looking at time like some kind of watch, being like, oh, do you miss me yet? And I keep on seeing energy understanding that relationships are not fixed with miss me yet. You can't fix a relationship by building into the space of making another person miss you. Missing another person doesn't fix things. It just allows one to ignore what the energetic problem is. So I keep on seeing if these are relationships where someone went away instead of taking care of a problem and then is trying to come back and saying, do you miss me yet? The energy saying, stay away. Like they're just saying, no, you can't fix things by making another person miss you. While we see that for a lot of these new relationships that are forming, that ability of understanding, look at this. These are baby steps. These are baby steps. These are the relationships that say, as long as the work is mutual, anything is possible. And they're even being honest to each other in relationality to what it is that they're healing from. This is not energy not trying to ignore the fact that they have feelings about the past, but they're paying close attention to the difference between trying to fix something with someone that is as invested in fixing it as we ourselves are, the mutual consistent effort versus the ability of someone that tries to fix something by making another person miss them and then trying to return to see if someone is still in the space that they're still going on about the thing that they know that they need to work on. Bottom of the deck on this reading, Devil card in its reversal. It's not easy. Healing is not for those who desire indulgence. Healing is not about what feels good. And I can see even now, like there's the observation that often the most unhealthy of the relationships are the ones that feel like so good, right? Because it's like almost feels like that energetic rush. But I need to point out, if you can tell usually an unhealthy relationship because those bright spots become the pins that hold you in the relationship instead of being the context by which you find the entire relationship as a whole, right? The observation that it can be good all the time, right? But it requires that mutual effort. And that when we're mutually invested in making it good all the time, we work towards that. We don't feel that disparity or run away when it's not. We put that invested effort into making it better. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy that's working through things right now, it's not about the feelings. It's the observation as to the direction something's going and whether there is mutual invested effort on what needs to heal. That is where we find all of the energy. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and receiving these messages. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Also, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone who was a part of our recent class, tarot class. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, August 13th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Tower card. If you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to as a paid monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. It's not necessary to catch up, but if you wanted to catch up, now is a great time to join. You've got a whole month to catch as many of those classes as you'd like prior to our next class beginning. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the whole year's worth of classes, you will also receive you will also have full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library class archive. That is access to over 16 hours worth of material in an ever expanding library. You will also have access to, if you choose to receive it, a one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally and assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage moving towards your personal tarot goals. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. You'll also receive my mystic meditation articles that I release bi-monthly. I just released one talking about how to navigate this recent Capricorn full moon that we experienced. I will be writing one shortly about the new moon in Leo that we're moving into shortly. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my students that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings. You can purchase these per dream or as a series. If you purchase a series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow. That is our daily collective read. We are going to get started on personal readings. Congratulations to Lisa. You got our highest gifter today. You will have that free reading. And Minnie, you came in second, so you will have an additional card in your reading as well. If anyone else would like to get on the list for today, you will be the 4th person read for. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a minute to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading, but if you want to get on the list, my friends, now's a great time. You will be the 5th person read for. We are also at 42K likes. When we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective, so make sure you're tapping that screen. We'll get to 50K in no time. Oh, I know, Lisa, congratulations, dear. Looking forward to our reading. And thank you, Channeling, for those heart knees. A reminder to anyone who's a subscriber, make sure that you're recharging your heart needs today if you'd like an animal spirit guide card with your one card reading. And GL, thank you so much for the follow. Hi there, Fig. So good to see you today. And welcome. Thank you for sharing the live, Trina. Hi there, Bridget. So good to see you. And Grand Rising, dear. Thank you guys so much. Wow, Grand Rising, Christine. Christina, I know you were on the hold list yesterday. Let me know if you'd like to be added back on the list today. Anyone who's on the hold list, if you would like to secure a spot back on the list, please let me know sooner rather than later. Bep, thank you so much for the follow. Andrea, thank you for getting on the list for today. You will be the 5th person read for. If anyone else wants to get on the list right now, you'll be the 6th person read for. I love Leo and Virgo season. I do too, Minnie. Catherine, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. Grand Rising, Korea. Just hanging out, lurking because my day is meeting heavy. No worries. You're not lurking. You're hanging out. Good to see you, dear. And thank you, Math, for the follow. Minnie, thank you for those gifts. Yeah, it definitely feels like a regression. I know, but that's why I keep on hearing, like, not letting yourself get frustrated or like lose hope about it, but just be fortified through it. Yes, celebrating how far you've come, kindness and patience towards self, tap to claim. Thank you as well, Virginia. And thank you, AJ. Yes, we're at 42K, guys. Thank you for tapping that screen. Also, when you tap the screen, it encourages this live to be pushed out to those who haven't received it before. So thank you so much for helping to share these messages. Fabulous. Thank you for the follow and thank you for the roses. I've been manifesting meeting my goal with ease. I love that, Minnie. Grand Rising, Angie. Yes, I've got space on the list if you'd like to get on the list for a reading, dear. I think I've got you on the list already. Understatement. It's a noisy day for me. Anyone else? I wouldn't necessarily say it's noisy. I would say, I mean, I feel like I think I know what you mean. But again, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of the Leo energy coming in. You know, it's like bah, bah, bah. Yep. I've been getting 7s a lot too lately. Thank you for confirmation, Minnie. Thank you for confirmation as well, Christina. I love how you said that. It makes sense. Thank you, dear. Oh, messages like group text. Oh, I see what you mean. Beck, thank you for the follow. Jessica, thank you for the follow. Hi there, creative. 333, Lisa, tap to claim. Grand Rising Per, good to see you today, dear. Little Hawk, thank you for those heart knees. And thank you for the hearts as well, Little Hawk. So true. I really dislike when someone says all men. We need to do, I need to point this out. It's not healthy. We need to stop to do it. We need to stop doing it. We don't do it towards race. We don't do it towards nationality. We shouldn't do it towards gender either. You know? That's right. Thank you, Quincy. Carrie, your subscription's ending soon if you'd like to renew. And Emerald, thank you for the follow. I do my best, Christina. Thank you as well, Jay, sending you support. I swear I try my best on my own. But they remain unavailable on their side. But again, Jay, always observe whether the work is mutual. You know, make sure someone is moving in accordance. Like, I want you to, like, if you're working to heal from something, I want you to hold on to the manifestation. I prioritize energy that prioritizes me and wants the same things as me. Melissa, I got you, dear. We're doing a dream interpretation. You are on the list. You're the 6th person read for. If anyone else wants to get on the list today, you'll be the 7th person. You're so welcome, Minnie. Angie, I've got you on the list. You don't want to do it today? I'm happy. If you want to be on the hold list, we do that. We can do that as well, dear. You just let me know. Rosa, Blue, so good to see you today, dear. Hope you're having a beautiful day. And Infinity, thank you for the follow. You're so welcome, Jay. And Healing, thank you so much. Lisa, thank you for those heart knees. I do have spots open right now, Ailey, if you'd like to get on the list. I'm excited for the new moon in Leo too. It's a very interesting new moon. It's going to feel a bit like a full moon. It's actually better. Leo full moons are complicated. You know what I mean? Leo full moons are complicated. Leo new moon, we want Leo new moon. Leo new moon's a lot easier to navigate. Yes, Ailey, there are spots left if you'd like to get on the list. All right. Hold on, I just lost my spot. I'm like never. Well, you won today, Lisa. You don't say never. It just happened. How does the extra card work? Can I use it for my, no. So basically when we do the one card reading, Minnie, it just means you'll have 2 cards instead of 1. Hi there, Key. Oh, you subscribed to the Substack. Wonderful. Oh, thank you for joining us there. You should now have access to the previous classes too, if you want to start to study up before our next tarot class, which will be on August 13th. All right. Christina, just let me know if you want me to add you back to the list. All right, as well as anyone else who is on the list from yesterday. Ailey, I just need your first name to confirm you if you're on the list right now. I'm going to read the list to make sure everyone's on it. Ta-da! Leo has entered the chat. Welcome, Nikki. Hope you're having a beautiful one. I will allow that blondes have more fun. It does seem like that. Today, please. Okay, no, absolutely. Angie, I've got you on the list, number 3. You didn't ruin it. I knew what you wrote, Nikki. Good to see you today, dear. Yep, if you can put me on the hold list. Well, I'm asking if you want to get off the hold list. I can put you on the list for a reading today, is what I'm asking, Christina. You're on the hold list now. Let me know if you want me to take you off the hold list. Thank you as well, Jay. All right, where were we? Oh, your moon's in Leo. Okay. What if you have Leo placements with the Leo new moon? Like, are you saying if you've got a Leo moon, it's gonna potentially be a lot of contemplation on identity of the self. I gotta tell you, here's the thing about it, like and this is the thing we have to face when we've got a lot of that, like the placement of the sun where the moon is, it can have a lot of that space in terms of working in the context of identity of the self, right? It's like that amplification of being able to honor the self and identify and recognize what one is working on, if that makes sense. It's okay, Angie, you don't have to apologize. I got you on the list, Andrea. Yep. Tawny, thank you for the follow. Oh, thank you for the compliment, dear. Thank you for being here and receiving these messages. Per, if you have time, yes, please. The list giveaway yesterday. Okay, I got you, dear. Let me add you back to it. Yeah, you got, because you were, hold on a minute. Yeah, you had the 150K. All right, I'm going to add you back now. All right, perfect. And just a reminder, I've got 4 spots open today before the list will be closed. Also, friends, we're at 45K. When we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen. We'll get to 50K in no time. Gianna just got here. Yes, there is room on the list today if you'd like to get on the list. I missed what you said, what spot I'm on. I'm going to read the list right now, Andrea. All right, the list I have right now for everyone inquiring. If I do not name you, and you are on the list, I want you to give me your first name and the initial where you sent the payment. I do not want you writing the full name of the place. The apps are very jealous. They don't like to hear the other app names on the app. So just give me the name and the initial, just the initial where you sent the payment, okay? The list I have right now is Sunshine, Bridget, Angelica, Lisa, Andrea, Melissa, and Per. That's the list I have. And if you are on the hold list, let me know and I will add you back.